Bored? Does your job suck? Book Apocalypse now, your local provider for The Walking Dead. Hi, I'm back and I watched some anime. I watched anime, so let's talk about it. This is what this channel is about, right? Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. We have our main character, a fresh college graduate, with all his hopes and dreams still intact, experience the unfortunate reality of Japanese working culture. Under the false premise of, hey, you just gotta tough it out, he is slowly but surely dragged into the endless abyss of unpaid overtime. Well, at least there's this cute office lady that occasionally provides for some company. Well, I guess he's a cuck now. TLDR, his job is shit, his life is shit, and he would be thankful for anything, literally anything, to rip him out of this vicious cycle. Personally, I found the show to be quite relatable. I mean, I can't be the only one who secretly hopes for the demise of society so I can do whatever I want, right? Right. Okay, but really, this is not such an unusual concept, okay? I mean, take Walter White for example. If you had like a week or whatever left to live, then you would probably just, live more intense, live faster, but most importantly, you would probably just stop giving a shit about other people's opinion, That's why I love the gym, for example, even though you might not be able to tell. If you have 300 pounds on your back, you don't really care if you look weird doing it, whether the weather is nice next week or not, or your final exams. And that in itself is incredibly freeing because it allows you to really focus on what's in front of you. You really live in the moment because your body is literally like, hey, I don't want to fucking die, bro. And I think that's what kind of the show is about, like not being too caught up in responsibilities and just, living in the moment. So yeah, the show really hooked me with like the first episode because the plot is so intriguing and his life is just so unfathomably shit. And it's just kind of ridiculous and funny. And then you realize, I have to get a job as well. Hi, is the deluxe World End package still available? In the following episodes, the show focuses a lot more on how much fun our main character has. Oh, look, he drinks beer first thing in the morning. But at some point, the show also kind of reminds you a little bit that, hey, not to burst your bubble or anything, but this is still a zombie apocalypse. So it can be a bit gruesome at times as well. Overall, the show is definitely focused on always looking at the bright side of things, even when things will undoubtedly go to shit and, nothing really matters and you're probably gonna die soon. So a little bit like optimistic nihilism or something. The show is also very based because it kind of has this stance that, hey, you shouldn't really get dull and let your interests go to waste because of a fucking job and earning money. It's a message I can really identify with because, as silly as it sounds, but YouTube is also kind of a thing where I'm like, I'm doing it purely for myself. I'm not doing it because my parents or friends or anyone wants me to do it. In fact, they would probably bully me for it if they knew what I was doing. And yeah, I think it's really important to have kind of something to cling on to, something that you really want to do. There's also this other girl in the show that is like super strict on trying to avoid becoming a zombie, but in the process she's also not really living, but more so just avoiding repercussions. She is essentially like our main character before the apocalypse hit, So what do we learn from that? The real chains are not the ones of your surroundings, but the ones you place upon yourself. But please don't work in a black company. Next up, a show I was very excited for, Mushoku Tensei. To me, the goat of isekai, and yes, I'm aware that ReZero exists. Speaking of which, ReZero is also returning, right? So I'm also looking forward to that. But that's for another day. So, Mushoku Tensei. What changed? Quite a lot actually. For one, Rudius is, he's kind of depressed now. And if Ryan Gosling memes have taught me one thing, it is that depressed people tend to do weird stuff. I mean, look at his YouTube channel, for example. So Rudius is kind of depressed, but also really horny, like your average Redditor. And that's why he kind of ends up screwing himself over, I guess. Which I've also seen people criticize, that he is like mentally 50 and he still does really dumb shit. Which I kind of get, but you also need to understand that adults especially those who have spent most of their time as a shut-in nerd, are only marginally less fucking stupid than kids and teenagers. Again, look at this YouTube channel. That, and maybe the fact that he is now in the body of a teenage boy and, you know, hormones going crazy and stuff, maybe that also plays a role into it. Speaking of hormones, there's this whole ED ordeal that I thought was very interesting. Now you might be wondering, ED? Like, oh, you mean like an ending? Is something wrong with the ending of the show? Well, no. Let's just say that Rulius runs into a man's problem. To be honest, I was kind of relieved when that happened because it provided some quote-unquote unique character conflict that I've definitely not seen in anime before. And I also think it would have been kind of weird to me if Rulius just started clapping cheeks now and the depression thing's just immediately gone. Which, to be fair, is still definitely a degenerate, but I was just kind of concerned as to what kind of direction the show was going, you know? Either way, Mushoku Tensei is back, and I'm happy about that. Alright, so another show I've been keeping up with for a while now is Bungo Stray Dogs. And I have to say, it feels like it's not as popular as I think it would be. Like, we have cool abilities, cool fights, cool characters. Okay, mostly it's just Dazai, if I'm being honest. I don't know what it says about my mental health when my favorite character in the show is a chronically suicidal maniac, but he's cool, okay? Anyway, the show is pretty good, but I think it could be a bit better even. My problem with Stray Dogs is that it's sometimes not very sophisticated, I guess, which sounds giga pretentious, I know. What I mean is that the show feels sometimes a little too safe and by the book. For example, it feels like our main protagonist has the same fucking character arc like every 5 episodes. Okay, we get it, you're insecure, you want to be appreciated. I get it, that's cool. But every time he acquires like a sense, a fraction of self-worth, he just goes back to his same old ways like 5 episodes later. And god damn it, the amount of times they've recycled his backstory makes me feel like someone had dementia when they made the show. Basically, I'm still kind of missing the point where the show really clicks for me. The closest I've come to that feeling is when Dazai's backstory was introduced. That was my favorite arc so far easily, because they really did something here, you know? They tried to do something with the atmosphere. It was kind of like noirish or something. Things were a little more serious. There was some mystery. I think they really just nailed this arc, you know? The problem is that it was so short. And the moment we turned back to the present, I was kind of like, okay, I guess we're back now. Which is not a great sign, considering that I've already spent like 50 episodes or so with the main cast. So I should care way more about them than I actually do, I think. It's a bit of a shame because when the show has convinced me that it can be good, I'm usually like, okay, let him cook. They're gonna figure something out. With Stray Dogs, however, I don't know if the show has maybe spent too much time in the oven. You also gotta keep in mind that this show is not short. Like, we're already like 50 plus episodes in. Which by One Piece standards means, hey, you gotta watch at least 5 more years of content before things start to get going. But for every other show, 50 episodes should be plenty enough time to make a good story. I mean, I've already talked plenty about shows that have like 10 episodes and managed to get like a great story packed into it. So overall, Stray Dogs is not bad. It's not bad at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I wish I could be a little more praising of it than I am right now. Alright, so before I ride into the sunset again until the next video comes out in like 5 years, I just want to quickly mention Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Currently there are 5, maybe actually 6 episodes by this point out. And they were fucking nuts. So if you have not watched Jujutsu Kaisen yet, because maybe you think it looks a little generic, maybe nothing you've seen before, that kind of thing, maybe reconsider. Honestly, I liked Season 1. I really did, but I did not think that it could be a show that truly, you know, blows expectations out of the water. But you know what? I'm really liking the season so far. I really do. So again, just a quick reminder, just putting this out there. Anyway, so those were some anime I watched this season. I was kind of busy, so I'm just now catching up with everything. But yeah, I think the season is pretty bummed so far, not gonna lie. Therefore, watch anime, or don't. I mean, it's summer, maybe touch some grass instead, I don't know. But yeah, until then, I'll see you someday. Bye.